once so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Hi, and welcome back, folks. Thanks so much for being with us. And quick turnaround for us, but we are here and we're ready to go. And I'm Caleb Colquitt. I know that right now I'm just a disembodied voice in your ear, but we also have our man Zane Thrash, who's going to be helping with commentary tonight, who you see on screen right there. Welcome in, Zane. Uh-oh. What's going on? Oh, we may have a battery issue there. Give me 1 second, and we'll try to get that resolved. So let me go ahead and check out your mic. I know, super professional we've got here. This is exhilarating broadcasting. Yeah, you got to hold it down a little bit. All right, so welcome in, Zane.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here. There have been a lot of new changes to League of Legends as of late, actually. A lot of different patches, a lot of different champion changes, and a possible new champion coming out very soon, actually.
Okay, well, why don't we do this? We'll do a quick intro of our team, and then you tell us about some of the updates while we're waiting on that to come to fruition. So real quickly, we're going to go ahead and intro everybody. Let's go ahead and look inside Regitar USA High-Res Arena. So you're going to see over there on the left, you have Stephen Patterson, who is... his screen name is MethodicalMelody. And then over there on the far right, that is Ethan RapterKlaw Dixon, who is going to be playing, I believe he's our jungler, is he not, Zane?
He is indeed.
Okay, making sure I got that right. Then on the other side of the arena, we've got there in the middle, that is FrisbeeMeniscus, or Charlie Grete. And then to his immediate right, right underneath the F-Wing shield, here in Regitar USA High-Res Arena, that is Seth Dawson or Skerge, who both of those guys just came off of playing Smash Bros. And you may be sitting there and wondering, wait a second, I think that there's supposed to be 5 people on the League of Legends team. And you'd be right. But the reason for that is our captain, Daniel Wentz, is actually playing remotely. This is not an official NACE League match, so he is not under the in-house rule. And the guy does live 3 hours away, and he's like, gas prices are killing me. So we decided it was okay for him to stay. Sorry, what was that, Jay?
I said it was pretty understandable why he wouldn't want to drive 3 hours this way.
Absolutely. I mean, like, he likes being in here with the team. He does enjoy it. But if he's not going to be here for school anyway, because he's also a law student, we understand why he would want to be able to conserve his gas as much as possible. So, Zane, why don't you go ahead and give us an update on some of the things you were talking about in-game there?
Well, there's actually been a new update to Aurelion Sol, who we might see tonight. I know that Daniel has actually been playing and practicing with him recently, and so a lot of buffs to him so that he can actually be viable finally in the game.
Okay.
Now, there have also been some new item changes and item update. Such as one, I'm not sure of the name, but I know that Charlie was talking about the possibility of using it in game so that it adds new effects and new aspects to the game overall. But right now, from what I see a lot of is I see a lot of late game and I see a lot less early game potential, and so the characters need to build up and earn money and gold over time so that they can win later fights, and they focus more on the middle and late game aspects and less of the early game. Now, our jungler, Ethan, he actually does need to focus more on the early game aspects so that his team can get ahead and they can not fall behind so that they can actually get the lead in the late game.
Gotcha. Okay, great. And let's see, just making sure I got my ducks in a row over here. I'm trying to get logged in here on the user side, so hopefully I'll be able to log in here in just a second so that we can get in on spectator mode.
Right.
Let's see.
And I'm actually really excited for this whole team comp as a whole because Seth has actually not played competitive yet, so we haven't gotten to see him yet.
Mm-hmm.
But he was on our team last semester, and he's been practicing a lot. And him and Steven will actually be playing bot side together. So that will be an interesting combo to see. I know that he likes playing a lot of tanky engage supports, and Steven is in the past has been known to really like his pokey champions and less of the engage champions. So it'll be an interesting combo to see who will actually be favored in that selection. And I also think that with Charlie in the top lane, that would be another very interesting aspect because he doesn't play top usually. However, he's been practicing a lot top lane. And so this whole idea of new aspects and new team members actually throws in a new curveball to the team because it actually includes more aspects of the game, and it includes several different possibilities of what could happen. Less predictable team fight, less predictable outcomes of each fight because each player has such a different play style. And I'll be really interested to see what happens this game. And I also think that with these new item changes and new champion changes, that it's going to require a lot of time and practice to understand all the mechanics that can be utilized with these new items and changes. And so tonight, if anything, it would be a great learning experience for our team.
Yeah, and if you can't tell just from that, you may have noticed that Zane seems to be really on top of a lot of this stuff. That's because he actually was on our team last year as Mr. Gunk, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I thought that was it. Because if you've seen Overwatch this season, I actually had him listed on the video descriptions as Mr. Gunk for the longest time, not realizing he had a completely different username in Overwatch.
Yep.
So... so the guys I just got an update on them. They are checking in here in just a second. So they will be underway here in just a moment. I believe they're not in-game yet.
They're locking in their characters right now.
Right.
And they've actually decided already who their characters will be, but we can't see that quite yet.
Yeah, not yet.
Not yet. But from what we know, I'm going to assume that Steven will go Jhin because that's his main comfort champion.
Right.
And that's a really great pick because Jhin has so much ability in team fights. He has great poke. He has great potential for a pick. He has great potential for long range fights and easy poke, as well as close up power because of his speed. And I think that Steven can actually utilize that quite well in team fights. So if he gets jumped on by an enemy Kha'Zix or an enemy jungler who can jump onto to our ADC, he can run away a lot faster than normal. And so that gives us an opportunity to not only counter engage, but also deal with that Kha'Zix a lot easier if they use an engaged champion like that.
Yeah, so Steven and Charlie were kind of both in limbo this afternoon. They weren't real sure what they wanted to go with as far as what position they were in. And so you're saying that they have settled on that?
Yes. So Charlie will be top lane.
I had a feeling
Ethan
they were going to go with that. Yeah.
Daniel will be mid. Seth will be support. And Steven as ADC.
Right. Well, that's kind of what I was expecting would happen eventually. It just seems to fit their play style better. And
I agree.
So, I kind of figured that they were going to wind up with that. And part of that, too, is just because Charlie, is just, he's well-suited for the top lane. He's perfectly okay going it alone. Mm-hmm. Don't get me wrong. He was a great bot laner last season. But, he feels more comfortable in the top lane. It just feels like a more natural fit for him, just from my perspective.
I agree. I think that there are things that our team as a whole can work on so that they can fight better together. But I also think that it will be a very interesting game because this is their first game together as in a competitive area. So I think it would be pretty interesting to see what happens.
Yeah, and actually, I'm just going to let you and the audience know that we just entered the queue for spectator mode, so the guys are actually playing right now, but, just to make it fair for everybody, the way that they do competitive is there is a bit of a delay, just like last season. So we are 2 minutes and 10 seconds away from starting in gameplay. So what strategy would you expect the team to adopt for this opening match of the season?
Well, I'm really expecting a safe play it safe, wait till late game.
Makes sense.
That's a lot of what we did last season as well, because if we start off the game early with a hothead or something that we just make a simple mistake off of, the game is pretty much going to snowball out of control for us. Mm-hmm. So we need to focus on staying safe, playing it safe, getting what we can early, and then waiting till late game, because late game is where our team really blossoms.
Yeah, and that's kind of consistent with what we saw last season as well. And, of course, you being a big part of that. For those of you who don't know, I'm just going to give you a little bit of background here. This team wound up actually going all the way to the championship and just barely lost to Seneca in the last round. So this team is really good. The captain, Daniel, really methodical in his planning. And I think probably his biggest asset is how adaptable he is in game. And that's something that you witnessed a lot, too.
Yes. Every game I could always rely on Daniel to come through in the mid lane for a few solo kills, for maybe a few picks. And he also did a great job of coordinating the team and telling us, hey, we should go after this. Hey, we should hold off on this. We should prioritize this. And so it really kept us all level-headed and focused, and I really like him as a captain.
Yeah, he's done a fantastic job, and part of the reason that I say that is, and believe me, this is not poor-mouthing, of all 5 of the games that we started out, I really felt like League of Legends was the one that I knew the least about. And that was really unfortunate because it's the game that's the most difficult to learn.
Yes.
So
there's a lot of different aspects to learn about it, like wave control, champion picks,
right,
and even itemization. Because many other games, they don't have where you choose an item and keep building off of it. This game has 6 different items to choose from, and then it has ward variations for vision, and it has just so many different aspects that you wouldn't really think of for other games. And so that's what makes the League of Legends so interesting. But that's also what makes it so long of a game, because there are just so many things to take into effect.
Well, and that's the thing you have to think about, too. In League of Legends, no 2 games looks the same.
Right.
Because, for example, Smash Brothers, which is the game that I usually relate things to because it's the one I know the best, that's got 84 characters. But if you have a match between, say, I don't know, a Mario and a Bowser, you were going to have some variation based on the players, but it's not going to be super obvious.
We are actually having technical difficulties right now.
Yeah, hang on just a second.
The game is actually paused right now.
Yes. So what's going on here, and I'm glad that I didn't go ahead and cut the game footage after learning that. What happened is we were having technical issues with one of the computers, and the computer was giving some kind of like really bad lag. So they had to pause the game for the moment, and I'm not sure if Zane, is there a capability for one person to leave a match and then jump in later, or they're just going to have to restart?
They will most likely. So he can sign out of his one account on that computer and sign back in on a different computer, and I think that should fix the problem. So they should be able to just continue the game anyways.
Okay,
but
so
I should be on a different computer.
So I should just keep my spectate mode on right now.
I believe so for right now.
Okay,
yes,
cool,
sir.
Cool.
But this should take about like 2 minutes, maybe top.
Okay, well, in that case, I'm going to go ahead and switch us over to the feed then. There we go.
Well, it looks like we have a Jax top lane with a Viego jungle and a LeBlanc mid. A very good pick for Daniel, by the way. And then Jin and Lux support. I was very surprised to see that Lux support, actually, because Seth is not too comfortable on that type of pick, because it's very poke-like. So obviously they did favor Steven in the end for that poking pick. Now you see Aurelion Sol and LeBlanc. Now Aurelion Sol is that new champion change that happened, and I'm actually really interested to see how their team will actually use it in effect. Ooh, level 2 advantage for the Yone up top. That hurt a lot on the Jax. Jax might need to play a lot safer now, just because of that one trade, which is insane. Daniel seems to be having a nice wave mid lane. Maybe the Viego might look to gank mid once that wave pushes up a little bit more. But that Jarvan is clearing, has already cleared top side, going to red after Raptors, and then we'll most likely look for a gank mid or bot lane. Now for, Jax very low, Jax dead. Ooh, first blood. And this is of course because he was having problems with his computer, and so that's very evident in his gameplay. But we should be back in no time because they're already playing again, and so I'm sure this will only take a few minutes. But from what I've seen, I can clearly see that it was very unfortunate that he had that lag, because
it seems to have resulted in the problem that he was having.
It was very bad, because I saw when that same lag happened to Seth the other week, when it was happening to him in there, and he could barely move without it like glitching out. And so I do not blame Frisbee right there at all. That's just very unlucky. He'll have to play extra safe when he gets back. But looking at the waves, I'm seeing Aurelion Sol pushed up. I'm seeing Viego very close. So it could be that Viego actually skips red buff and goes straight for a gank on the Aurelion Sol for LeBlanc. Now, of course, Aurelion Sol is very mobile, and so that would be a very tough gank. But the Viego would be very good to stun and then get a good root with the LeBlanc. And so that could be very interesting. However, with this wave pushing it in bot lane, I believe that the Jarvan will go after Krugs next, and then maybe go to bot to give him a gank. So that's something that they need to look out for as well. Now,
it appears to me, and granted, I know you know a lot more about this than I do. I'm just kind of giving my amateur observation. It seems as though we're got a little bit of an advantage in mid. It seems that we're about breaking even in bot as it stands right now, and it's really hard to tell this early in game who's really got the advantage in jungle. Am I correct in that assessment?
Well, in jungle, yes. However, they do have more vision than us, and so that automatically gives their jungler a better advantage, as well as their top lane. However, if our jungler goes from the red buff to the Krugs, then we should be fine, because he would avoid that vision. So that vision would be null and void. But that is a very interesting ward by their team. But I think that their mid actually has the advantage, because pushing in a wave right there, our wave is going to push back naturally. And so Jarvan might go to Krugs after red buff, and then go mid immediately for a gank on our mid laner, because our wave would be pushed up then.
I see. See, I was kind of just going by the fact that we have two players very close to one another there, and I was expecting a push, but it looks like our jungler is actually moving back, and we're back in action.
We are indeed. And our wave is actually going to push bot lane, so Jarvan could either look bot or mid, and they could both be very good options for them.
I'm not sure what happened, but it seems like our feed has just stalled out for some reason.
Well, with what we see right here, we see Jax is teleported back top lane. Now, he does need to play safe, because he doesn't have a teleport, and he also does not have the CS and XP that he missed from dying right there. Ooh, that was a very cool maneuver by Daniel, avoiding the Aurelion Sol shot, because that Aurelion Sol can sit there forever and do that. He does not need to move. Ooh, very interesting engage. Double stun. And that Alistar is very low. However, they need to go after... Ooh, flash stun. That should be a kill. That is a kill.
There we go.
Very good job.
Excellent play there. Starting to even things up.
They both get out scot-free while Jax gets some good CS topside. However, he does need to be careful of that Yone coming back. That's a great root. Double root by Skerge. Both of their teammates are extremely low. Jarvan is there for a counter engage though. They need to be very careful. They need to watch that river. They should know that Jarvan is very close by now. However, Jarvan is also wasting a lot of time. Back top lane. Back to bot. Flash. Ooh.
Yeah, putting some pressure on bot there.
And Arjun actually panicked while using his cleanse because he thought that the Veigar cage was on him when it was actually just on the Lux there. But however, both the Veigar and the Alistar actually used flash, and so that could be a good advantage later on. However, our Lux does miss a lot of XP here because of this wave crashing on our tower.
Yeah, really unfortunate the way that ended. But, you know, it's by no means a fatal blow. We still got plenty of game to play.
Nothing that we can't come back from. And of course, Viego and Jax are actually looking topside for us. And that could be a very good gank. However, their Yone is backing. Good map awareness by their Yone.
Oh, yeah.
Our LeBlanc is pushing in with the minions. Maybe looking for a back here. Maybe looking to stay. Has very high HP and very high mana as well. So she doesn't have much of a reason to back. We do need to be careful of an early dragon because the enemy Alistar seems to be actually getting vision and may look to gank mid lane. That would be very interesting. However, our LeBlanc is very mobile. Has a huge wave crashing topside. That is going to be very good if he can capitalize off of this. However, that will take some time to push to his turret. And then maybe our Jax can get in the lead a little bit. Another counter gank by the Viego. Ooh, barely missing the stun. Aurelion Soul on the run. That Yone is level 6. But so is our Jax. So it should be quite even.
Hey, look at Frisbee.
Jax is low on mana. He can't do anything.
Yeah.
Jax is dead. Ooh, that was a close fight though. That was very well played by the Yone. I think that it was very unlucky actually. Another, ooh. That is a nasty combo of the Alistar shove into the cage for the stun.
Yeah, you can tell this bot lane has worked together a lot.
Really good synergy. They targeted our Jhin as well, who they knew that did not have flash there and did not have cleanse. So that was a really good target.
So one thing that's interesting here that we'll give you a little insight behind the scenes is that Seth has been playing a lot of Nautilus since he's newer to the support role, and he had been basically in the arena, and I gotta give him props. He's been here practically all day working on a new support team, and it seemed to have paid off because they probably banned Nautilus, which is why he's not playing as him.
Ooh, that was a nasty engage by the Alistar. Ooh, that was an amazing stun by the Veigar as well. That was very unlucky. They're going to go for Dragon right after they shove this wave, of course. I don't think our Viego should go for a steal here, however. And I think that we should just give it over and see what we can get topside. Ooh, the Yone actually devastating our topside. I believe he got red buff there. Our LeBlanc is 1v1ing the Aurelion Soul right now. Viego looking for a gank there, maybe.
And they're going Dragon.
They are getting the Dragon here. There's no contest, but they did not get our red buff topside. They did, however, put a control word there so that they do know when the Viego will go up there.
Yeah, and I think that was the smart move to not try to steal. We were not in a position to do that and probably would have just wound up doing more harm.
Amazing 1v1. Wow. That was incredible movement by LeBlanc there. Avoiding the Aurelion Soul ult with the dash was amazing there.
Man, and even has enough HP to take out a couple minions before he returns. Really well done.
The Jarvan's covering mid lane for the Aurelion Soul, of course. I'm kind of concerned about that wave now. But the Jax is struggling topside. This might be another kill. Ooh!
Nope, gets out of it.
That was great. That was great by our Jax. That was a good time to ult to defend himself and get out in time.
Yeah, Frisbee really getting slippery over there.
They of course know that Viego is topside with that ward. He needs to be careful here. He's 3 levels down. That was a good flash. They should definitely not try to fight this one. Oh, Jarvan
gets Frisbee.
And
now
Viego
Raptor.
doesn't have flash, but he might get out. Oh, he did not get out in time. They could either, they are going for our red buff, and they might go for another camp as well. However, MrOneShot trying to one-shot the Rolling Soul mid lane. That is an amazing Veigar stun. And onto the Lux. So the Alistar has time to roam and hopefully not get a pick on any of us. The Alistar and Aurelion Soul are both top side, so it is just Veigar bot side. However, I don't think the Lux is high enough to actually fight the Veigar right now. A quick trade from the Jax and Yone. They're going after Rift Herald, of course. I don't think that this is actually too far gone. I think that if Veigar or Viego actually tries to get in there, he can feel it. Too late now, though. They need to run while they still can. The Veigar with a 1v2 in the bot side. Very unlucky. Double stun onto our Jhin and Lux was just too much there. With the ulti, he takes down double kill. Him getting solo XP was actually detrimental to us. Good double chain. He knows when to get out. That's good play.
Yeah, that's the thing. I would say probably the hardest skill, or at least one of the hardest skills in this game, is learning when to cut your losses and run.
Right. And our Jax needs to be extra careful, so that's good that he's backing right now because their Yone has ult and ignite up, so he could very easily... Ooh, barely slips out. That was good. Our Viego is actually going for the 1v1 here, even though he's 3 levels down. No, just going for some quick poke. That's good. That's smart. You cannot fight this. You cannot fight this Yone right now. This Yone is very fed and very dangerous right now. Playing it smart, defending the turret for Jax to get back and get the CS.
Well, it's true in League of Legends and it's true in real life. You never mount a frontal assault against a superior opponent. You just don't do that. You play the guerrilla warfare game.
Veigar missed stun on our support and ADC that time. Good movement by the ADC and support. I think, Skerge is very low, needs to back right now, but still playing up a little bit. They're playing with fire right here, and I'm interested to see if they have a plan, or if they're baiting for the LeBlanc to actually come down and gank. However, they did spawn Rift Herald mid, so that might be aborted.
Yeah. It's a bold move, Cotton.
Rift Herald taken out by our Viego. LeBlanc is coming down bot side. They don't see the they don't see the Veigar.
Oh man, they're getting close
We
here.
can get a kill here.
Come on.
We can definitely get a
You can
kill.
do it.
Alistar no flash there now. Jarvan
Yes.
was there. Ooh, that was very good. They
Just
need
sort
to
of
run.
Excellent. Just
Aurelion
kinda
in our
pictured
own jungle. Aurelion ulting. Ooh, that was so close. He barely didn't get out. Now they need to be careful of the Aurelion Soul diving them under turret here. Jarvan failed dive. Aurelion is so powerful right here because he can just sit back in the back and just farm a turret for him. This is insane. Ooh,
Yeah, and Skerge in trouble here.
Alright, well,
Hard to win a 1v3 as a support role.
yes. They just needed to get out there, and there was nowhere for them to run, really.
Yeah, just kind of got caught.
Barely missed the stun onto the Alistar there. Ooh, that's tough. Popping ult so that he didn't die to the turret there. That was smart. They need to be... Ooh, this is scary. The Alistar might win this 1v1. That was insane, actually.
Man, I know that it didn't end our way, but you gotta respect the stand that Frisbee made there.
That was impressive. That was very unfortunate that he got hit back into the tower again for that final blow there.
Yeah, because it looked like he might have actually pulled out a kill there.
Daniel going for the 1v1. This might be our only chance to kill the Yone. We'll see what happens. Ooh, that was good. Good kill on the LeBlanc. I think it was very smart of him to use Flash there to secure that kill because that Yone has a lot of healing. They're going after Dragon, of course, and the Lux and Jin actually need to back off immediately because this Alistar Jarvan the 4th combo is very detrimental to our team. They're backing off. Lux barely misses. Jarvan ult. Ooh, this is hurting. Well played by them. That was very unfortunate for our team. I think that we need to focus more on taking small picks, small fight, not fighting 1v1 because I don't think that we can. The Aurelion ult coming through. Yep, the Aurelion Soul with the exhaust there and ult used. I think, ooh, caught out in his own jungle. He just couldn't do anything there. He was just trying to fight his own jungle camps and CS. Nothing for him to do.
Yeah, sometimes you can eke out a win if you're outgunned or outnumbered, but when you're both, that's just not something you can usually come back from.
Now the Yone is still pushing mid lane, and I'm surprised they haven't sent anyone to go deal with him yet. Maybe they think that the Alistar Veigar combo is a little bit more dangerous right now. LeBlanc is going after the Yone right now, hopefully going to get a pick before he gets turret. It might be a little bit too late. It is indeed. Let's see if they go for a pick here or if they just let him go. The Jax is wanting to fight, though LeBlanc is wanting to run. They might look for another turret dive here if they aren't too careful. Yone is in our jungle again. They're just bullying our poor jungler. They are diving bot lane. Let's see what happens. Immediate kill onto Luck. And another kill on our Jhin. Now what they did there was they let the Alistar tank all the hits from the turret because with his ulti he gains so much armor that he can take like 10 hits. And so their Veigar just melted us. They're going after Jax right now. That was good ulti. Dead. A good pick on the Aurelion Soul there. I don't think they can go for another one on the Yone. This is good bait for that Jarvan 4th though. That was a great maneuver by MrOneShot to get out of that Jarvan ult. You can't dodge the Veigar ult. And of course they get the Viego on the back end of that fight. They might go after the Rift Herald here. Maybe want to secure that. I don't think that we can actually fight that. That's a nasty stun. An immediate one-shot onto our Lux, who's actually a really squishy champion. So of course that fed Veigar is going to just demolish her.
Yeah, you're right. They're going for the Rift Herald again.
Going after another Rift Herald. This will give them less gold from the turrets, but of course it's still going to give them more turrets if they use it correctly. Mm-hmm. They seem to be collapsing in on our Jax. The Alistar fails his Q, but that's a really good knockback. They seem to get him. Yep. Kill on Jax. It was a really good wraparound by that Alistar, and we need more vision in our jungle. I just realized that our jungle is completely dark, so of course he wouldn't realize that Alistar was wrapping around like that.
So what are some strategies that we could use to maybe get a little more vision?
We just need to be always grouped up in pairs at this point because it's just so dangerous for any of us to be solo. And we need to keep warding our jungle and bushes and so that we don't get picked off like that. However, right now we're kind of turtling in our base, except MrOneShot, who has the maneuvers to get out really easily. That's another kill on the Lux there. Nothing for him to do. They're going in very deep onto our base, killing the Viego, killing the Jax. Going after Jhin next. They got all 4. I believe that the LeBlanc was trying to get a pick in the back line, but while the LeBlanc was trying to do that, they actually just stormed our base. Because our LeBlanc right now is our main power source. And so without our LeBlanc, we can't really do much. Now, of course, they're going to try to keep pushing since we do have more dead. Immediate kill on the LeBlanc. Couldn't dash out of that one. they need to go for a Hail Mary here. Immediate kill onto Lux, and followed by the kill on Viego. Jack's going in. Jack's got knocked back into their team. Very dangerous for him. He's most likely going to die. Jin hiding in the base as he tries to heal up, and he gets popped. They're going to try to end the game now. Nothing for us to do there, really.
Yeah. I think what happened there, you're seeing the classic snowball effect that they just got to a certain point that they just got rolling and there wasn't a whole lot our guys could do. They were too under leveled to defend.
Right. I think that if we get more vision, then we can realize that where they are more, and I think that we can actually come back a little bit better and maybe win this next match. But I do like how our team worked together actually in the beginning. But then once they started snowballing, I believe that we started panicking and we started going after fights that we shouldn't have, and that we started getting a little bit too cocky when we shouldn't be that cocky. Because I saw the Jacks a few times go into a 1v1 with a Yone. Now, of course, if they're even, that Jack should win pretty easily.
Right.
But that Yone had an early lead because of lag. And so I'm thinking that Charlie had it in his mind that he should win that fight, but then it just didn't work out because the Yone had a little bit more gold, had a little bit more experience than him, and it was unlucky. But I think that we actually saw some good ganks by the Viego RapterKlaw, and I think that focusing on having MrOneShot be the main carry for the team, focusing all of our resources and energy trying to get him, is a good plan, but we also need to focus more on bot side, because our bot side, that was also popping. Like, they couldn't really do anything later on in the game because they just kept getting one shot by the Veigar. So I think we need to focus more on letting top side be an island, because I think Charlie can actually 1v1 by himself. He can play it safe, and I think that he can actually fix the mistakes that he made. But I think we need more ganks bot side, and I think that when we have that, they won't be as oppressive in our jungle. And so that will not only help our bot side, but it'll also help our jungler as well.
Yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense, because Charlie probably could just sort of almost not shoot to just break even, but almost that, just so we can dedicate more resources to bot lane, which seemed to really be struggling and be at a huge gold and level disadvantage there. If they had had a little more resources at their disposal, I think they would have done a lot better.
I agree. And it was just really unfortunate that they got some good ganks and they actually played it very well. And they had a great combo with the Alistar and Veigar. I wonder if we will actually ban that Veigar this time, because we didn't really seem to have a good counter against it. We didn't have a great counter play against it, even though we were a poke heavy team. So that should be the only that's about the only way you can deal with that Veigar, other than one-shotting him. Now, of course, they probably had some other bans that they would prefer banning over that Veigar, but I think we should actually prioritize that Veigar ban off of the last match.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Since that it's always funny in League of Legends, and this is true of really any esport that has some system of bans. You always worry about, if I ban this, what happens if they pick the thing that I banned last time and that's actually worse?
Right.
And so I don't know what the bans were last time, but you know, do you worry at all about maybe something like that happening?
Oh, absolutely. Because I remember last year when I was on the team, I remembered playing a lot, and I remembered I always had this one character that I banned. But then, of course, you can get good with any character in League, and you can also get so good with that character that it becomes oppressive. Now, if you just go across one game that you get lucky, that's something. But it's about whether you're consistent with that character or not. That's what you should determine banning a character on. Now, playing this first game against them, the Alistar was good. I think they just have good game sense in general. And so I think that they might want to stick with the original bans and might want to try again with some different characters. I'm hoping that they actually change up their picks a little bit more, so that Seth can feel more comfortable on the Nautilus, so that we can actually become more stronger in our bot side. Ethan actually seems to be checking out his computer to see if something is plugged in or not. I wonder if that was affecting him last match as well.
Yeah, sometimes that does happen, and generally speaking, we don't have issues with that, or at least we haven't all this season. But every once in a while, your mouse, you will actually have to like unplug it and plug it back in to basically reset it. So luckily that hasn't been an issue for us this season so far, but it looks like that may have been what happened with Ethan there. So hopefully they've got that resolved. It doesn't look like they're having that issue though on the other side of the arena. Everything from Seth and Charlie's side looks good, which is really good. It's a good thing that Charlie hasn't noticed any lag or anything like that like he did in the first one. Hopefully we don't have a repeat of that. That, of course, would be really horrible to have to deal with again.
Right. And they're actually choosing their characters right now, but it will actually be a few minutes before we get to see who they actually choose because of our system and the system that they use for NACE. But what they're doing right now is I believe that we actually did get first pick while they got last pick. And so that last pick is actually usually very detrimental to a team because you have to worry about counter picks and you have to worry about your own picks. And so you need a wide champion pool to make sure that you don't get counter picked as hard. Now, of course, we could go for something safe like last season we usually went after my pick or MrOneShot's pick. And because we both feel very comfortable about not being countered, because we can both play it safe, but we might see a first pick of something very mobile, like the LeBlanc or like the Tristana for the ADC, or a Sivir who can easily block spells and get herself out of dangerous situations. But I think we need to not worry about picks as much and just focus on the end game gameplay and strategy so that we can actually get more wards and become more aware of our surroundings and worry about team fighting and less of the 1v1s that we might lose if we are actually behind.
Well, you know, Zane, sometimes I do have to tell my players in other games, just like it is with this when it comes to bans, I want you to think about it. I want you to be strategic, but I also don't want you to overthink it to the point that you have gotten to where you're up in your head about it and you're worried about not picking the perfect ban. And sometimes when you overthink a ban, you'll actually wind up banning something that you don't need to worry about.
Right.
And so I do think that obviously it's an important part of the game. It's one that you need to focus on. It's one that you need to be strategic about. But at the same time, it's not the end of the world, because at the end of the day, regardless of who makes the better bans, the better team usually wins.
Right. It is very important to make sure that you understand the champions that you can go against, and you can grasp what they can do to your character. So of course, if you do have a certain character in mind that you want to play, you might have to ban that character. But usually I agree with you. It's more about the gameplay than what the characters are in general.
Yeah, I actually had a game of, I think it was Smash Bros. Actually. A couple weeks ago, I had one student in particular that he was just upset because he wasn't sure who he needed to do to pick as his character to counter pick. And he was so worried about it. And I said, in game, I was just like, all right, just pick the character you're most comfortable with. If you don't know what character is the best counter pick, then don't get in your head about it. Just pick the character that you feel the most comfortable with right now. And he did, and he wound up winning that one. And so sometimes it's just, take a deep breath, calm down, don't get frustrated or anxious about it, just back to basics.
I like that idea, because many times, especially in League of Legends, where you have to have a level head, where you have to not be in your own head, you have to worry about, well, how am I going to play, but also, what do I need to do to win? And of course, that's the same with every game, but with League of Legends, if you make a smaller mistake, it could actually result in a bigger disaster, because it is a snowball game, and so you have to play safe sometimes. But
why don't we actually see if we can take a look and see at who they are picking and banning right now? So let's go ahead and take a look at, I believe this is MethodicalMelody, and so we can get an idea of what this match will look up based on what they're picking right now.
Well, off of the picks and bans, I'd suggest that we have the Zach and the Orn and the Lux and the Ziggs, which is extremely surprising. The Zed pick, I honestly have no idea which side is which because it says MNSU and Wayne.
So I don't know why our side is Wayne.
You know, it's a cool name.
But
it's a cool name.
You know what I bet it is? I would bet money that that's because that's the computer that Wayne McKay plays on all the time. And so
I like it.
He probably just was thrown in there as Wayne.
I like it.
But yeah, so the blue side is Minnesota State. Also, interesting thing about Minnesota State, their mascot is a bull, but they're called the Minnesota State Mavericks. Not sure why.
Well,
you know.
The Maverick Bulls seem to have a Vayne topside with a Varus mid, Senna support, Tristana ADC, Graves jungle. That is a very interesting team comp. I'm honestly kind of confused by it. Now, of course, that Vayne top is obviously meant to counter the Orn top for our team, but our Zed pick is actually quite interesting to get into their backline, and we also have a little bit more AD. And so I'm assuming that will be a Zed mid lane with a Ziggs APC, Lux support, Zac jungle. That is a lot of AP damage. So of course that Zed pick is a very, very nice touch. And it's very interesting that they banned the Aurelion Soul, which was crucial ban last game.
Oh yeah.
Because that Aurelion Soul could roam so easily. And it's because of all the new changes that they made to him. And so we haven't gone up against him enough, and I don't think many people have actually experienced gameplay against him to actually know what counter picks and what to do against him.
Well, now, I noticed in that match, too, that even though in a lot of respects MrOneShot was able to outmaneuver him, he didn't seem like he had a very good matchup there. Like, he was doing better than him, but it was purely because of skill of the player, not because of the inherent qualities of the characters themselves.
Right. And that Aurelion Soul just had good game sense and was able to roam a lot with his abilities, and it was just really bad for our side lanes. Even though Daniel, our mid lane, MrOneShot, was actually able to outplay him, it just didn't work out in the end.
Yep.
Now, of course, they already have their picks and bans, but this is just giving them the proper format of picks and bans for the teams, so that it's more like pro level play. And I actually find that very interesting that they use the dawe.gg website for the picks and bans. Now this is going to be a Ziggs APC with a Lux support. And so we will actually be seeing a very poke heavy bot lane, especially against the Senna and Tristana. However, that Tristana can be very scary, especially if you're low. So we have to be very cautious of when the Tristana will want to jump in on us and when we should be able to run away, and we should know when to back out, because that Senna route is actually quite hard to hit, but it is very scary once it gets hit, especially for Tristana, because then Tristana instantly hops on you and pretty much kills you with her abilities. However, I like our team comp a lot better. And so if we just wait out for the late game and we make sure not to feed too much and make sure not to allow them to snowball, I have a really good feeling about our team comp and what we can do. And they seem to be very range oriented and seem to be trying to poke us out more than anything else, with all of their characters being ranged. Even the Graves is mid-ranged. And so it's good that we have a Zac who can hop on them. It's good that we have a Zed who can hop on them. And it's good. However, that Vayne is actually very scary. If she gets fed with her armor penetration and her range and her kiting ability, it could be a very scary thing to fight against.
Yeah, and you know that firsthand because it seemed like last season there were a couple of veins that gave us some issues as well.
I personally don't remember going against any veins.
I think there were 2, if I remember correctly. But
if they did go top, then I probably did struggle against them because range top lane, especially the Vayne, she has so much mobility and she has so much potential to just because one of her abilities pushes you away. One of her abilities makes her roll away from you or roll towards you. And she also gets a speed boost towards you. And so it's just a very scary champion to fight against, especially as a melee champion like the Ornn. However, if the Ornn just waits till late game, gets his CS, gets his gold, and gets his items leveled up, because that's his niche. He can level up items and he can actually improve the items of his fellow teammates, which I find very, very cool thing to do. Now, he does have to wait till at least, I'm going to guess, level 2, level 3 to actually try to fight, because if he tries to go in any earlier, he will lose.
Well, we should be getting here underway in about 2 minutes, so we do have the timer on right now. So we will be getting you to gameplay very soon. Shouldn't be very long at all now. And, hopefully this is the middle match, because that would mean that we forced a rubber match at the end. This is a best of 3. So hopefully we're able to stay in it and get a big win here for our first game of the season. It's always nice to start the season out on a high note.
I like it. Now, however, one thing that we didn't see last match was an invade. Now, that's something that we always have to be cautious of. But with this team, I don't really know if they would be invade prone, because we have more melee champions, and so we would be better close range, but they could always have that possibility. And it is very scary, especially at this level of competition, to actually see these invades. And we have to always be cautious, which goes back to vision warding and seeing who's in our jungle and when they are in our jungle, so that we know when we are safe to go there, when we should never go there. And we get to see where we can go as a result, because if they go somewhere, then we can go a different place. And if they go somewhere that with like 2 people, we can go there with 3 and kill them both.
Well, and that actually kind of goes to one of the things that we were talking about earlier in the game. It seems like Daniel is especially good at reacting to things in game like that. And so being able to see like where the enemy is, and as long as he has enough vision to be able to figure that out, usually he can come up with a at least somewhat effective strategy on how to counter that.
Right. It's all about counter moves. And it's all about moves and counter moves, of course. And so it's whether or not you want to give up this tower for this objective, or whether or not you want to give up this dragon for this tower or this kill. And it's always something important to keep a level head while making those decisions. Now, I actually have a lot of faith in our team today to make those level-headed decisions, and it looks like we're back in game. Again, I'm very excited to see the Ziggs APC with the Lux support, because that is a lot of good poke and a lot of interesting combos that they can have together. As in, the Ziggs can push the enemy champions into the Lux route for potentially a great kill.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because it seemed like maybe this was just something I assumed was a rule, but it was just a coincidence. I thought that you actually had to switch every match. So I'm surprised to see that Minnesota is still blue and we're still on red.
You do not have to switch, but they are going for the invade like we talked about. Our Zach did try to get vision there, so that's always good by RapterKlaw. Let's see if anything happens. I'm kind of scared that the Ornn might get caught out, because they did not see the blue team walk up there. The Ornn did not see them. He's still AFK in the bush. Oh no, that's not good. He gets caught out. He's dead.
That's really bad.
Yeah, there's nothing for him to do there, because if he used flash, then they could just kill him as well there too. That was just really unfortunate that they didn't see him, and that our Ornn was not... oh no, not the Zed talking in all chat. Oh my, Varus. Well, they seem to be at our red buff for the Graves, and Graves does not actually need a leash. So I'm really hoping that they recognize that Graves is most likely at our top side so that we can actually go into their blue side jungle and take their blue buff. And now the Ziggs and Lux are actually playing at their turret already. Playing very safe, I like it. The Ornn is pushing up a little bit to get level 2. However, the Vayne might be letting him push so that the Graves could come gank, but I really hope not. Our Zach seems to be still clearing that blue side jungle of his. Vayne pushing back now. That is a lot of poke onto that Ornn. Very detrimental. That is a good route. They can't do much there though. Bot lane actually made a really good trade there. The enemy just got level 2, but they still ended up winning because of their positioning. That was very smart. Their bot lane is about to level up to level 2. Zach did not realize that Graves took his top side yet, and so he is going to be missing out on some major XP.
I have to say, I'm fairly impressed, even though they struggled a lot in the last game, that the bot lane has been able to synergize as quickly and as well as they have, because remember, they didn't even know until this match started that Steven was going to be playing bottom lane.
That's actually a really good poke onto that Senna, who actually might have to back soon here. They might look for a pick onto the Senna, which would be amazing for us. Zach seems to be looking topside for a gank. Wave is pushing it. It seems like a good gank, although it is always a Vayne, so you have to be cautious. Good poke from our Skerge 999 onto that Senna right there. Zach is actually moving towards the mid lane instead. Vayne is warding, it seems like. Vayne is actually into our jungle. Zach looking mid. Potentially a fight mid lane. Tristana just hopped out. Nothing much to do there. That's a great route by Skerge right there. Ooh. Everyone seems to be losing right now. Very tough situation for Frisbee, needing this XP, but also needing to back at the same time. Very scary. Bot lane seems to be getting dove right now by the Graves.
Oh, look, in a gank.
Yep. That is 2v2 kill right there, and then a dive, of course. That could have been a really great flash out by the Ziggs. Nothing else to do there, though.
Man, that was a shame too, because they were pretty neck and neck, and then the gank came and it was like any hope of winning this just went away.
Ooh, the Ziggs teleport actually comes in very nicely. Graves seems to be extremely low as well as the Varus right there because of the Zed gank right there fighting for that Scuttle Crab. Ornn teleporting back top. Ziggs is back bot lane with his teleport, getting solo XP, which is good for him. Bad for our Lux, though. Let's see if they prioritize the Ziggs well enough so that he can actually use that solo XP to his advantage. Ornn seems to be struggling against that ranged top lane because it is just so crucial to that team. And it's just scary. Ornn honestly needs a gank as soon as he can get it. And it looks like Zach is coming up top again for that gank. Let's see it happen. Graves on the red buff. Zach going in for a gank. Could be a good one. Oh, can he get there in time? That's unfortunate positioning. I believe that they should have had a kill there, but it was just a few mistakes and they lost it at the last second. The flash and exhaust by the Tristana. Zed couldn't do anything there. That was just unlucky. And of course the range into the melee. That was a good Q by the Zach, but the Tristana just ults him away. I believe that the Graves is actually looking to collapse topside, while bot lane is still trying to just CS right now. Bot lane is being poked out. Ornn is trying to run away, although the Vayne does have movement speed right now, as well as Ghost. Ornn flashes away. Very smart. Bot lane trying to get into a kerfuffle. Good poke. Good damage back. That was a good trade right there. Graves looking into our jungle. Our Ornn did indeed get out on time with using the Vayne Ghost as well. So that's very good for him that he actually lives there. Varus, no barrier. Zig's taking some damage. They're both extremely low on health and mana. Varus and Senna are trying to play it safe. They know that Zed is missing right now. Zed's looking for a gank bot side, while Zach is actually taking blue buff. Zed's still going for it bot side. Oh, nasty shot.
Yeah, not good.
Zed is coming in so that he can kill them, hopefully. That is a really good trade on their part, however. Okay, Frisbee is trying to trade with Vayne right now. Vayne turning it around somewhat. Frisbee got minion blocked into death. Yeah, that was unlucky. Nothing to do there. Justana bullying RapterKlaw right now. Bot lane actually got out with both of their lives. Terrible trade. That was just really unfortunate. Really well played by them though. Making sure that the Lux was dead, and so that they couldn't get rooted or slowed, and the Lux could not shield or ignite. It was very well played. Still not out of it yet. Very close fights. They need to focus more on ganking and fighting as a team instead of trying to 1v1, because we just seem to be losing as of now.
Yeah, and I think that part of the reason you're seeing us not do so well on the 1v1s is because they've obviously got a level and economy advantage over us at this point, and so that's why, you know, you may want to see a little bit more of those team-ups that you were talking about.
And of course they are going after the Rift Herald, but we seem to be contesting. I actually like this move. Our jungler's here now. Let's see if we can steal it.
Come on, can they get the steal?
They actually did not get the steal. They're getting killed in our back line. Good ult by the Ziggs to disengage the fight. Zach still wants to continue the fight, however the rest of the team does not. Trying to cut losses while we still can. They might go after Dragon here after they place Rift Herald. It's still up in the air. They might just focus on getting plates right now. Zed going after the Graves in the back line. Great pick. Zed should also get out. Ornn is just struggling against this Vayne. Zed gets out scot-free. Amazing play on his part. And our first kill of the game. Hopefully we can actually turn that into a much bigger lead. Our Varus is just poking our bot tower just heavily with no one there to defend it yet. Our Lux is 2 levels behind our Ziggs and their Varus. Our Lux needs to watch out for that Senna in our jungle, however. They might actually dive bot side, but right now Frisbee is fighting the Vayne. Vayne is just too good at rolling out of that damage there. Kills the Ornn. Amazing boot by MethodicalMelody. What a save. That was so good.
I know.
That was amazing. Going for a counter gank with that Zac. Senna gets out free, but without a kill. That is amazing for us. Now, of course, that Graves is focusing the Scuttle Crab right now to get vision for the Dragon. Our Zed is extremely low. Might get dived on. Ornn is walking back to top side. And we only have 3 wards in the jungle as of now. We do need to get those numbers up because we are actually losing, and it could be very scary to get ganked right now. They seem to be wanting to contest the Dragon right now. Dragon's extremely low. We might need a steal here to save the game.
Blue team has slain.
They did indeed get the Dragon, but the Ziggs ult was very close to a steal. What a play by Frisbee! What a solo kill! That was amazing! That was a perfect combo by Frisbee right there. With his ultimate, with the slow, with the knock-up, everything was perfect. He couldn't have played that any better. Very interesting play by him. And he still has teleport, so he can shove that wave in, get a few plates, and then he knows that Graves is bot side, so he has nothing to worry about right now. They're getting dived on by Tristana. What a route. Oh, that's awful.
Yeah, that's rough.
Zed going in for a solo kill, hopefully. Varus ulted. It doesn't matter. Zed gets out. Zed gets out scot-free. What a play by MrOneShot. That was an amazing use of his ult ghost. However, he's in danger because this Graves has a ward and ghost here. Barely misses his hop over with his shroud. I don't think it would have done much of a difference there because he was pretty much a goner with that Graves running out like that. Ornn is still in lane right now, pushing the wave. Let's see if Vayne wants to freeze. She does not. She wants to push. MrOneShot saying that was rude in all chat. My apologies. What a cordial game. I appreciate it.
Gentlemanly.
Indeed. But Ornn is actually taking some Krugs from the jungler so that he can get some extra XP. They might look to get first turret mid lane. Oh wait, it already fell bot side. Zach looking to defend the turret mid lane. Zach very low. Zach has passive though. He should be safe. Let's see if they can defend the Zach. They should be able to.
Skerge and OneShot here.
OneShot going for a kill. That was an amazing flash by the Varus. Let's see if we can kill him. Barely gets out. Ooh, good job. Good flash right there. Ooh, that's unlucky. They should not fight against this right now. Skerge barely missing his root. Hopefully MethodicalMelody gets out alive. Ooh, with a kill. That was an amazing shutdown on that Tristana. That's a lot of gold. That's
I don't know how much HP he had left when he pulled that off, but it was not much.
Yeah, it was most likely 20. And so 2 minion shots should have killed him there probably. They did in fact get the mid lane turret. Now they might be looking for the top lane turret next, but right now they're just focusing on staying alive. MrOneShot going for a solo kill onto the Graves. Does not work out.
Yeah.
The Ornn is actually playing this quite well against the Vayne, it seems like, because preventing her from getting turret plates and as much CS as possible. The Zach coming in for a gank. She has no push away, so it should. Ooh, she has flash though. It seems like the Ornn ulting could kill her. Oh, it does. Raptor needs to leave immediately. That was just unlucky. That was a good play by the Varus. Good route by the Senna. Good shove by our own Ziggs though. Our Ziggs has been on it with these shoves and these bombs lately. And I'm very impressed with how many times he's actually saved Skerge from any more damage or even death.
It also seems like we've just had some rotten luck on getting kills, and then immediately it just happened to be close enough that someone figured it out, was able to come through and get the kill off of us to turn it into a trade.
Our their Tristana is actually going in on our Lux, who got caught out there. I think that was just a risky path to take anyways against such a fed Tristana. Let's see what this Ziggs can do against the Tristana though. Should be able to just kite out and just get the CS so that the Tristana cannot push on him, but she actually one-shots him. That was really well played by the Tristana. I wonder if the Ornn can actually do anything against this Tristana. She might not have enough armor penetration to do anything to him.
Looks like he's gonna try.
He actually backs off. That is very smart because he doesn't have any more abilities to use. He didn't even have ult, so I think that he made the wise call there.
Got it.
And that Tristana has abilities up again. Zach looking for the Vayne. Very scary position right there. And Vayne actually kills the Zach. That was a good TP by the Ziggs. Hoping, ooh, good knock up on the Vayne. See if they can actually make something out of it. Ooh, barely missing the ult on the Lux. Good ult by Tristana. Can Skerge get it? No, he gets one shot basically. That was a lot of damage by the Varus.
Well, Skerge is currently our lowest level player, so
that wasn't even like oh wow, yeah, he does need a lot of XP. I thought you meant like game XP or experience.
No.
Okay. Yeah, he needs to focus on getting minion waves, CSing, and honestly, I'd give him some solo XP at this point because he is almost like a half of what some of their levels are. That's a very dangerous game to play. That's why he keeps getting one shot.
Right.
And that's why they can just dive on him whenever they want, like that. Orn is trying to make something out of this.
I will say one thing that Minnesota seems to do really well on is when they're team battling, they'll have, they're really good at switching. You know, just taking that low HP character and pulling them back and switching them out for a higher HP character.
Right. And that was a team wipe right there. That was really, really well played. Ooh, our Lux is actually stopping the Rift Herald right there. That was a good ult, so that it does not get as much damage. However, our Lux can still get one shot by pretty much everyone on their team, so has to play safe right there. Good route onto the Graves, and of course our Lux is getting one shot. That's just really unfortunate because they're prioritizing the Lux because they can just kill her immediately, and then we don't have one of our teammates. Trying to chase down this Graves right here. Let's see if we can actually get him out. The Graves gets out because of the Senna movement speed right there. Well played by them. They are going to have the Vayne try to get that top turret down a little bit further on its HP. Let's see if they can actually take it or not. Zach is going up to defend it. They have to be very careful. Vayne can root very easily. And very heavy poke right there. Zig's coming in for another save. Graves and Vayne are the only two topside. We have 4 topside right now. We should get a kill right here if we play it correctly. It's too risky. It's too risky. Especially against that Vayne who has ult up still and has her rolls and her pin. It's just a dangerous game to play. Tristana going on our Orn right now. Orn has nothing because he was clearing minion wave. That was very unlucky. Good play by Tristana, and again, we need just more vision in our jungle. I don't think the Orange should have been pushed up that far right now because we are just trying to defend base. But maybe he was just trying to push it out a little bit further and then run back to defend base.
Looks like they're going to make another push here.
They are indeed. Their Graves is still taking their wolves though, so it might not end the game. They are going to at least go for another turret here because Vayne is also coming up. Another pick, maybe. I hope not. Oh, that is a tough ult. Amazing ult by the Orn, however. Can they get a counter pick? Oh, okay. Vayne extremely low. Can he get him down? Oh my goodness. Everyone's so low. Our team did amazing there. They killed 3 out of 4 people in that fight with one of them on a sliver of HP. We played that extremely well, only losing the Lux and Zed. I would actually consider that a win because we didn't lose a turret either and we gained a lot of much needed gold.
Yeah, I know it didn't look pretty, but when you're backed up against the wall, making a big push like that and getting even just the moral victory from that standpoint can be huge.
Graves is just gaining XP and actually is higher in XP than anyone on our team, which is very dangerous because we haven't been able to CS and get XP like they have because we've just been defending base over and over and over again. Now we actually did a really good job getting a ward on Baron thanks to MethodicalMelody, which he should actually be okay there. That's awesome. Really well played by him. Maybe getting a pick onto the Senna as well. Oh! Immediately their team is there. That's an amazing ult by MethodicalMelody. But again, an ult by their team as well. Yeah, our Lux is again in trouble right here. Dead.
Team double kill.
And now they actually will look to end the game.
Yeah, I think it was because do you think that was an intentional kiting, or did the rest of the team just happen to be there?
No, it was definitely intentional because that's just called a bait. And our Zed is trying to do something, can't do much against that. The game is indeed going to end with that.
That's going to be all.
Very unfortunate ending, but it was a very interesting game.
Yeah. Hate to see it in that way, especially it being the first one of the season.
Yeah.
But, you know, that's the way that it goes from time to time, and it did seem like we just kind of had a disadvantage there, had a lack of XP, and once they got to snowballing, there just wasn't a whole lot we could do.
Right. I agree.
All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a quick break here, and we'll be back in just a minute with the post-game show and an interview. So that is coming up in just a moment when we come back.
Training tomorrow's teachers, ministers, and scientists, guiding future business leaders to positively impact our global economy, teaching healthcare professionals to improve patient outcomes, coaching athletes to give their best on and off the field, men and women learning how to succeed wherever their dreams take them. That's Faulkner University. With over 70 undergraduate and graduate degree programs, you'll find your calling, all in a Christian learning environment. Faulkner University. Discover more at faulkner.edu.
Did you know that 100% of Faulkner's computer science graduates
since 2014 have found jobs
in their fields within 6 months of graduating?
It's a great time to be a computer scientist. Everyone is walking around with a computer in their pocket in the form of a smartphone, and it takes software developers to make those things work.
I built church websites, and through the training and instruction that I received from Faulkner, I was able to go right into my career after graduation.
It laid a solid foundation for what you need to know.
I'm getting a lot of hands-on experience within my field, and also they're just giving me a wide variety of options of things that I might want to pursue in the future.
In the state of Alabama alone, there are over 4,000 tech-related jobs available. And the preparation that you receive at Faulkner University will allow you to go to work almost anywhere as a software developer. It's a great time to be a Faulkner Eagle, and it's a great time to be a computer scientist. I hope you'll come and join us.
And we're back. Thank you so much for being with us. We're just coming back from a Faulkner. Weird. I don't know what's going on with the cameras. You may have to close out League of Legends on the broadcast PC. I bet that's going on. Sorry, it does that sometimes. It's weird. I don't know why it messes with the camera. There we go. Yeah. Okay. We're much better off. All right. So we are here with Charlie Grete, FrisbeeMeniscus. I'm never confident in how I say that.
That you did it perfectly.
Okay, good.
You're a lot better than a lot of others.
All right. Well, anyway, Charlie's here. He was playing top lane tonight, and one of the things that we noticed in both of the games is that when we were going through top lane, it seemed like your biggest issue is that you just weren't able to acquire XP as quickly as the other person playing top lane. So walk us through some of those things and maybe some of the things that we can look at and work at.
So when it comes to XP, really the only thing you need to be there for is to watch the creepers or minions die, and that's how you gain it. But you need to be close enough in order to actually gain it. However, the enemy laner for the first game, Yone, and the second one was Vayne. They kept pushing me off the wave in a very aggressive manner, so I couldn't really be close enough to gain XP without taking a completely negative trade. So really the only strategy that I could come up with at the time to actually gain XP was to sit by the tower and wait for their wave to push closer to me so that I could have the safety of the tower without being punished too harshly. Now, that leaves for gold, which you actually have to kill the minion in order to gain the gold.
Mm-hmm.
That was where I was really lacking, so I wasn't able to purchase items as quickly as my opponent was.
Gotcha. Well, one of the things that you talked about, because Vane has so much spacing control, that became a real issue for you, and I think really for the team later in some of the team fights. But it seemed like what happened a lot with the team as a whole is that there were some parts where you guys were kind of outmaneuvering them, especially in the second game. In the first game, it seemed like bottom lane was just getting bullied pretty hard. But it seems like y'all, I know that y'all didn't come out with the win, but you had tightened up the screws quite a bit by the second. What were the adjustments?
So the strategy for the second game, since they were all going ranged ADC champions, we figured just purchase a lot of armor and try to negate as much damage as possible, but
Gotcha.
that really didn't work out enough to benefit us to win, so as you could see. But it also comes along with different champs to see what would work. Really about it.
Well, I know that one thing that I talked about a little bit with the audience beforehand, but I wanted to get your comment on is you guys weren't 100% sure whether you or Steven were going to be top lane and bottom lane really up until game time, as I understood it. Was that correct?
No.
Oh,
So
I got that wrong. Okay.
we discussed earlier on, as we were early on in the semester, that I would be taking over Zane's position since I had more experience in the game.
Okay.
Less experience in top lane and more experience in support, but since support is a more easier role, we figured Seth should fill that in since he's more new to the game.
Okay, so that was actually something y'all decided a while back. See, I thought y'all were still debating that up until like...
No, that was no, we weren't.
Just a misunderstanding.
I guess.
I got you.
Where'd you
Okay.
get that misunderstanding from?
Oh, I thought it was on Discord last night in the League of Legends.
Okay, I didn't check that, so.
Yeah, well, maybe that was it. I don't know. Maybe it was a misunderstanding on my part. But either way, you did have to change positions between last season and this season. So what were some of the things you did to make that?
Well, play a whole lot more games top lane, learn how to CS better, and really flesh out my champion pool. I'm back into learning completely different champions, like Gangplank I haven't ever played, and I picked them up like a few days ago. Ornn is actually someone who I played a lot before this season, so I had a bit more experience than him.
I was going to say, you seemed a lot more comfortable second round when you had Ornn.
Yes. Jax, on the other hand, I'm still fairly new with him, which I played in the first game, and as you can see, that was not a very good experience.
Well, it's the first game. You guys have a completely new team configuration, and you may remember that last season, it took us a little while to get our first win in that season too, but we wound up going all the way to the championship. So,
True.
Rough start here, but just because rough start doesn't mean you can't finish strong. So thank you so much, Charlie, for being with us. We appreciate you taking some time out to talk to us about that and give us some insights there. So we're going to go ahead and call it an evening since it's already pretty late here. So we're going to pack it in. But having the Smash Bros and the League of Legends back to back. But before we do end it for the week, we do have one last game that we want to tell you about tomorrow. That is going to be coming up. That is a CSGO match, which will be taking place against... looks like I actually don't have that one up here. But it's okay. I do remember... what is our opponent tomorrow? I know we played Murray State on Wednesday. Oh, it's Norwich. Norwich. We'll be playing Norwich University tomorrow in CSGO. So we will be back for that at 6 p.m. So we have one last game before you go to the esports week with spring break. So we do have that one game left, and then we'll be off for a week, and then we're going to come back with more League of Legends and get to the rest of the season. And those will be Tuesdays and Thursdays. So be sure to look for those once we come back. So that's going to be it for us tonight. Unfortunately, the Eagles not able to take home a win. We're going to end here with Minnesota State Mavericks 1, Eagles nothing. But that's going to be it. We have some room to grow here, and we will definitely be back with a vengeance for our next game following the spring break. So we will call it a night right there. Thank you so much for being with us, and until tomorrow at 6 when we start our CSGO match, stay the course.
The preceding broadcast was an official presentation of Faulkner University. It may not be redistributed without the express written consent of the Faulkner University Athletic Department. Regitar USA High-Res Arena is sponsored by Regitar USA. The national anthem was performed by the Faulkner University Chorus. If you would like to learn more about the Faulkner Esports program, visit our official website at FaulknerEagles.com or follow us on Discord, Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, and Instagram for all the latest news and events. Thank you for watching, and soar Eagles!